Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take sources you send us and, well, we dig in to pull out the key insights.
That's right.
And today, we've got a really fascinating text. It looks at how astrological alignments might affect our financial well-being, specifically after May 12th, 2025.
Yeah, it's an interesting blend, isn't it? Astrology, a bit of spirituality, this idea that cosmic happenings could influence, prosperity.
Exactly. And the source really asks this big question. Could the stars actually be lining up for some kind of major financial shift for certain people?
It taps right into that curiosity about fate and fortune.
It really does. And our listener who sent this in is like many of you wants to get the gist quickly, have those aha moments without wading through complexity.
Get straight to the core ideas.
Precisely. So consider this your fast track to understanding what this text is all about.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump in. The source starts by talking about destiny and fortune, how they're linked. What's the angle there?
Well, what's interesting is it brings in a Buddhist perspective on destiny. It's not seen as like this fixed path you can't escape.
Oh, okay. Not pre-written then.
No, not at all. It's more like something we co-create through our karma, our actions, our intentions, even our choices. It's constantly unfolding.
Right. So our actions have consequences that shape what comes next. Makes sense. So how does actual fortune money luck fit into that picture?
According to the source, fortune isn't just random either. It suggests it has a vibrational origin.
A vibrational origin.
Yeah. And linked to that in Buddhist thinking is this concept of energetic deservingness. It's about being aligned in harmony with the universe's flow. That's what attracts prosperity.
Energetic deservingness. Huh. That's a different way to frame it. So where does astrology come into play? How does it connect to karma and vibration? Seems like a separate system.
Good question. The source presents astrology almost like a symbolic map or a language. It suggests it can reveal these cycles of potential abundance. Yeah, like certain planetary alignments, the ones they flag for after May 12th, 2025, might create a kind of resonance, like tuning into a specific cosmic frequency for prosperity.
So the universe might have sort of peak times when certain energies are easier to tap into.
That's the idea. And they use the term cosmic synchronicity to bridge our own efforts with these larger cycles.
Cosmic synchronicity.
It's like the universe gives a nod when you're ready, when your internal state and external actions align with these opportune moments. Maybe you've been working hard on something.
Right, laying the groundwork.
Exactly. And then suddenly, perhaps coinciding with these alignments, the right doors open, the right people appear. It feels like synchronicity.
That's intriguing. So it's not just about waiting for luck, but being prepared to meet it. And the source stresses this isn't only about cash, does it?
Oh, definitely not. That's a crucial point. True abundance, as the text defines it, is much bigger than just your bank balance.
It includes
things like recognition for your work, feeling emotionally balanced, having inner peace. It's a holistic sense of well-being.
Got it. Okay, that sets the stage nicely. Now, the text zooms in on 5 specific astrological signs it believes are particularly favored after May 12th, 2025. Should we start with Aries?
Let's. For Aries, the source points to Jupiter moving through Aries-related areas of the chart. Jupiter often means expansion, luck.
Great Benembicat.
Exactly. And also Uranus activating sectors linked to money and innovation. Uranus brings surprises, breakthroughs.
So Jupiter plus Uranus sounds like dynamic energy.
Very dynamic. It suggests the time for Aries to be bold, trust their intuition, even if things seem uncertain. Take those inspired risks.
Okay, so what might that look like practically? What opportunities?
Could be unexpected offers, maybe investments popping up from unusual sources, or finding new income streams through innovative ideas they've had.
Makes sense for Aries.
And the spiritual takeaway for them is don't back away from the risks your gut says are right. Trust that inner voice.
Trust the impulse. Okay, next up, Taurus. Very different vibe from Aries.
Totally different. For Taurus, it's more about the stability they've been building finally paying off, leading to abundance. You've got Jupiter actually moving into Taurus.
Their home turf.
Right. Plus, Venus, their ruling planet, making nice aspects with transformative planets, and Uranus is still shaking things up a bit in their sign, too. The message is, the harvest from your steady work is coming.
The harvest is near.
I like that. So what's the advice for Taurians?
Solidify those plans,
Yeah.
Look at long-term investments, and really trust their financial instincts. But because Uranus is there,
There's a but.
yeah, there's a need for flexibility too. The spiritual lesson is about letting go of being too attached to how things have to be. Stability doesn't mean stagnation.
So mixing tradition with a bit of boldness?
Precisely. That's where the abundance flows for them, according to this source. Tradition meets innovation.
Interesting blend. Okay, let's talk Leo. The performers, the leaders. What's the outlook? For Leo, the text talks about direct boosts from Jupiter again, plus solar aspects connections involving the sun, their ruler lighting up areas of recognition, achievement, leadership.
Sounds like their time in the spotlight could pay off.
Seems like it. Opportunities might open up in entrepreneurship, taking on bigger roles, creative projects really taking flight. Think visibility, promotions, maybe earning from something truly original they've created.
Nice. Any spiritual angle for Leo?
Yes, a really important one, balancing ego with purpose. Using their success not just for themselves, but to inspire or help others. The idea is that true fortune comes when generosity outweighs vanity.
That's a powerful reminder. Okay, moving on to Sagittarius. The explorers, the philosophers.
Well, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion we keep mentioning. So this period is highlighted because Jupiter is activating sectors linked directly to financial growth and broadening horizons for them.
So it plays to their strengths, thinking big, looking outward.
Absolutely. The source suggests looking for international opportunities, maybe exploring new markets, pushing innovative ideas.
How might that translate into actual gains?
Could be through travel, teaching, maybe foreign trade, or even using online platforms to reach a global audience. Anything that expands their reach.
And the spiritual lesson for Sag.
Keep the faith, basically, even if the path isn't crystal clear. Trust the dream, follow that inner arrow, take calculated risks that feel authentic. Prosperity lines up with their sense of freedom and mission.
Trust the journey. Got it. Lastly, Pisces. The dreamers, the intuitives.
For Pisces, the key influence mentioned is Jupiter joining Neptune, their ruler, creating these subtle but potent aspects.
Jupiter and Neptune together. Feels very well Piscean.
It does. It suggests a powerful time for them to take their visions, their intuition, and actually make them tangible. Turn dreams into reality, intuition into income.
Grounding the ethereal, then, how does that work financially?
Potential earnings could come from art, spiritual work, healing professions, therapy, music, film, anything where their deep intuition can be expressed and monetized, essentially.
Right, but there's a catch, I assume. A lesson.
The lesson is crucial. Keep your feet on the ground. Balance the dreaming with practical action. The universe supports faith, the source says, but only when inspiration translates into actual movement. You have to do the work.
Can't just dream it, gotta build it. Okay, that covers the 5 signs. But the source then pivots to spiritual preparation for abundance and says this part is for everyone, right? Regardless of sign.
Exactly. This is the universal advice. And here, the connection to that Buddhist philosophy really deepens. It starts with the mind.
How so?
The text emphasizes that our mind is the root of both suffering and liberation, especially around money. So the first step is shifting the mental focus from lack, from what's missing, to gratitude, to appreciating what is there.
Yeah.
Cultivating gratitude is framed as like learning the language of the universe.
Okay, changing the internal narrative.
Yeah.
But it's got to be more than just lip service, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. It stresses the importance of genuinely feeling deserving of abundance deep down, not just repeating affirmations you don't quite believe. It has to resonate.
An internal shift.
And it also talks about wise spiritual action, which means acting consciously in line with your soul's values and in ways that ideally benefit the collective, not just yourself.
So, mindful, purposeful actions. What about these unconscious pacts with scarcity it mentions? What are those?
Those are the limiting beliefs we carry, often without realizing it. Things we say or think like, money's the root of all evil, or I'll never be wealthy, or it's selfish to want more.
Ah, those ingrained ideas.
Yeah. The source says we need to become aware of them, challenge them, and essentially break those unconscious agreements we've made with lack.
Like mental spring cleaning. The text also brings up detachment. How does letting go help attract abundance? That seems counterintuitive.
It clarifies it's not about forced poverty or denying desires. It's more a spiritual understanding. Clinging too tightly, being desperate for money, can actually create anxiety and block the flow.
So it's more about trusting the process.
Exactly. Trusting that what you need will arrive without trying to white-knuckle control every outcome. It allows space for things to come in.
Less forcing, more allowing. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about connecting to something larger? How does that fit in?
That's presented as fundamental, connecting with the sacred God, universe, source energy, whatever term resonates for you is vital.
Through practices like meditation.
Yes, meditation, contemplation, time in nature. Whatever fosters that connection, it helps cultivate inner peace, that sense of wholeness. And the idea is that this inner state of being abundant naturally starts to attract external abundance.
So it really is an inside-out process.
That's the core message.
Okay. And finally, the source kind of wraps up by redefining true wealth itself, moving beyond just finances again.
Absolutely. It argues true abundance isn't just money. It's a reflection of your connection with the cosmos, with life, and living consciously. Money, when used with awareness, becomes a sacred instrument of transformation.
So spirituality and prosperity aren't opposites.
Not at all. They're seen as complementary, two wings of a balanced, fulfilling life. The wisdom of the stars, in this view, is just a reminder of life's cycles and our own power to co-create within them.
And the message for people whose signs weren't mentioned.
It's very clear. Free will and conscious action are stronger than any astrological transit. If your sign was mentioned, maybe see it as an invitation, a tailwind. If not, you still hold the power to create abundance through your choices and inner work.
That's empowering. So boiling it all down, what's the ultimate secret, according to this source?
Aligning with your essence, your true self. When you're aligned internally, the external tends to fall into place. Inner transformation is what sustains any outer shifts. It's about finding your path, trusting yourself, learning, growing, and keeping your heart open.
Find your alignment, find your abundance. That's a powerful takeaway. So this deep dive has really unpacked a fascinating perspective, weaving astrology, spirituality, and finance together.
It's definitely thought-provoking stuff.
And while, yes, specific signs and dates were mentioned, that broader message about mindset, intention, gratitude, conscious action that feels universal, that applies to anyone looking to cultivate a more, well, abundant life in every sense.
It suggests the alignment we often seek out there really starts in here.
So a final thought for you listening. Reflecting on all this, what's maybe one small shift, just one thing you could tweak in your thinking, or maybe an action you could take today to cultivate a bit more of that inner abundance? How do these ideas about karma, energy, and conscious choice land with you and your own beliefs about prosperity? Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.